Well, we continue to unpack this story, and we're now joined by Frank Mukwanja, who's the Executive Director for the Center for Multiparty Democracy. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
People are hailing these elections as perhaps the most transparent that they've been. There will be complaints by those that didn't win. What's your assessment from your vantage point of how this election went?
You know, an election is a process. And we noticed that the pre-election process had several hiccups. On the polling day, we noticed good progress, some level of preparedness by the electoral agency and other electoral institutions. And we always expected that at the time of the declaration of the presidential results, then we would have some challenges, and that has proven right. Otherwise, we noted there is a great improvement in terms of transparency, having the results out there in a public portal. We noticed good use of technology. We noticed a low voter turnout, possibly indicating a few challenges here and there from the people that were supposed to vote. Overall, we had a good process for polling, and usually, as expected, we have had a challenge in terms of tallying and declaration of the presidential results. Highly expected, and what we're now working on is to ensure that the next level is legal and constitutionally in order, and that is the loser, as declared by the IEBC this evening, heading to court to challenge the victory of the winner, and hopefully the Supreme Court will then be able to superintend over this matter, adjudicate it, and give us a verdict. If William Ruto has won fairly, then the process of swearing him in will continue. If he's not, then either a do-over will be ordered, or they will head to a runoff with Raila Odinga.
Is it a concern for you that there were commissioners that said they can't take responsibility for this election result? Because the commission is one body and they should be united in their outcome. Or does it suggest that some commissioners were partisan?
It is a huge concern that the commission has split. Obviously, there has been some suspicion when especially some critical information about the credibility of the voter register leaked, and we knew that leakage must have happened at the very high level of the commission involving commissioners. Set aside that, it concerns me because up to until today, the challenge with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has been deemed to be a struggle, a structural struggle between the Secretariat and the Commission internally. Externally, it was the Commission against the powers that be that possibly were maneuvering to deny the Commission the independence that is enshrined in the Constitution. And we saw this in the build-up from 2017. The Commission starved of finances. We saw this when some commissioners were twisted to resign and then were posted to various, diplomatic jobs. And we saw the delays in appointment of new commissioners, and we saw the delays in terms of making sure that there were several legislations that were required to improve on the conduct of the elections. But the split internally coming out denying the results is a new concern that we should be able to ask, is it really an issue of differing on facts, or is it external influence? We expect that some of these commissioners will swear affidavits if the loser, Raila Odinga, is going to petition in the Supreme Court. And possibly in the coming days, we'll be able to unearth a little more on what actually went down to the level that the new commissioners who were hired in September last year decided that they will not be party to the election. So far, they have only said the process was opaque. They have not given any clearer details. We are hoping that this will come out in the coming days. We're hoping that this will come out in the petition in the Supreme Court, because they will be challenged to make their facts known to the court for proper adjudication of the case. But from this information, it obviously concerns me as a democracy development individual in this country.
So there was concern in the lead up to the election day that there could be some violence, but by and large, I think most people realistically expected if there was going to be trouble, it was going to be in this period that we've come in now. Are you worried that we might see something escalate?
I do not think that there will be much trouble. Because so far the loser has been very restrained, and we have not yet heard his speech. And I am sure that when he speaks out of his commitment will be to try to calm down his supporters. It was quite ill-conceived for the commissioners to come out at that particular point. Possibly they would have been advised much better to come up at a different time and be able to say, we were not at the results announcement because we disagreed with the chairman and two other commissioners on these points. Because so far, the only reason that has led to this violent reaction is the four commissioners reacting. Generally, one of the issues that was going to this election was whether IEBC had the capacity and credibility to preside over a closely contested presidential elections, and whether it was possible for them to address any irregularities arising from that. The jury's out there now, and the Supreme Court will also add to that. The second question was, how will the current economic situation in the country affect voter behavior and voter turnout? I contend that it is not going to be very possible for any politician to sustain and monopolize violence out there. It is going to be very expensive and unmanageable for them to do that. And it's also difficult for the ordinary folks to sustain mass demonstrations and make it difficult for them to go to work and fend for the next bread. So the situation is that people have really to calm down and work. The situation is also that people are not very easily manipulable, because they have seen politicians in Kenya disappointing after elections and going against their pledges and not being able to deliver. It's also very well known that in Kenya, like in most African countries, violence is largely a monopoly of the state by either security agencies abetting or provoking violence. We have seen also a lot of restraint and a lot of professionalism, a lot of neutrality from the security agencies. So if we don't have these conditions where the security agencies are neutral, where the security agencies are not provoking, are not abetting violence, where we have people largely self-restraining because they need calmness for them to be able to fend for the next bread, where we have it very detrimental for the politicians to organize violence, then I think this will subside and the Supreme Court will take over, and we will see how then the next day is shaped. It was unfortunate to see the exchanges live on TV involving politicians, but it's good that it is only involving politicians so far, less with the people and less with the security agencies. I am sure that Kenyans will behave, and there will be less and less violence than we have had before.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much indeed for your insights. We pray that this gets resolved peacefully, and that a new chapter in Kenya's politics starts off on a good note. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Thank you.